Hi, today I'm going to talk about a book written by the Norwegian author Roald Dahl, Taste and Other Tales. But first of all, I'm going to talk about him and what he did in his life. Let's see. Roald Dahl was born in September 1916 at the University City of Oxford in London. He was a Welsh novelist, storyteller, poet, and screenwriter. Among his most popular works are Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, Matilda, the Giant, Agutrot, The Witches, and Taste and Other Tales, the book that I'm going to treat today. Dahl is characterized by his work of fantastic books that, in my opinion, are really great stories with a sensitive background for the reader learning. Taste and Other Tales is a collection of short stories that has in common apparently normal people as principal characters, but with a sense of cruel in the deep of them that make an unexpected twist in the plot. I'm going to talk about the first two chapters of the book. The first is called Taste and the second is called A Swim. Taste is the story about a fraudulent lover who was invited to a meal at a friend's house. Everything was going well during the meal, just until the second time of the dinner, when the host asked him for make a deal, proving his skills with his taste of a wine. The bet treats about guess the year, country, and producer of wine that the host gave him to try. The guest agreed, but he asked for the hand of the daughter of the host if he won. Otherwise, the host asked him for two of his houses if he won. During the taste of the wine, the guest said what he believed that was the country, year, and producer of the wine, just until one of the servers noticed that the guest fraud and tells everyone. In my opinion, the story starts with a normal and quietly story, but suddenly the bet makes everything changes. And it turns really interesting because it noticed how creepy could be the guest for winning the daughter's hand. And stories with plots such as this are really interesting. On the other hand, we have A Swim, the second chapter of the book. This is a story about a ship travel and an auction. Mr. Botable is the principal character. He, during the dinner, was seated next to Mr. Renshaw, but he wanted to ask something to the purser, so he stood up and sat next to him. Mr. Botable asked at his ear, "Will the captain already have made his guess at day's run?" And the purser answered that he doesn't know, but he knew his intentions. At that moment, Mr. Botable stood up and went out to watch the weather. Then a worker of the ship told her, "This is gonna be a rough night," to which he replied with the questions to know the speed of the ship with that weather. The worker told him that in that conditions was impossible to go fast. Mr. Botable came into a room and waited for the auction. The winner of it would win around $7,000. Then the host appeared and shouted that the captain had made the guess of the day's run. 830 kilometers. We will take the 10 numbers on either side of it to make up the range, said the host. That means 820 to 840, he said. Mr. Botable bet $6,000 to the high numbers analyzing the weather. But the next day, he woke up and realized that the weather allowed to approach more than he expected or bet. Then he had a terrible idea to jump out of the ship for it to go backwards. Then he made it, making sure that a woman who was not being in the auction saw him, and then he asked for help. When he did it, the woman didn't do anything for help him, and Mr. Botable stayed in the water without money. For me, these are the best stories of the book, and I really recommend you to read it, because of the plot twist that the author make on it, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it such as me, because they are really quick and easily to read. I really recommend it.